Cheers.
They don't know about the kumbaya meetings we had this week. They have no idea.
Day high. Good look. 3.
All I want to do is compete.
They didn't look into your heart. They didn't look into your heart. They didn't look into my heart. Sir, because they came to whose house?
All right, guys, welcome back to Cuse Yourself podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Stacy.
And so what are we drinking today, babe?
All right, so today we are drinking Smoothie Dreams from Captain Lawrence Brewing Company. It's an ale beer, and it's mixed with guava, passion fruit, vanilla, and milk sugar. Just a fancy combination, but it's yummy.
It is pretty yummy. So welcome back, guys. For those of you who watched episode 9, we're on episode 10.
Yeah.
Double digits. We're here. So for those of you that watched episode 9 and follow us on Twitter or on Facebook, you have seen the teasers put out for the trivia night. The details are hammered out. Mm-hmm. It is finalized. Babe, tell them what they won.
All right, so August 24th, Saturday afternoon, I guess it's pretty much when it's going to start, from 4 till 9 or whenever, we will be at IBU Brewery. For those local, it's pretty much kind of buried right there behind the old Salt City Billiards, right on Route 11 in North Syracuse. We will be, like I said, getting there about 4 o'clock. We're going to have some special guest appearances. We are going to kind of glad hand with some people for a bit. We will do a live podcast from IBU. After the live podcast is over, starting at 7 o'clock, we will do Syracuse football-related trivia. The winner of the trivia will receive, like we said in the last one, will receive 3 tickets for the SU Maryland away game and a 2-night stay at the hotel. That's right on campus. And the whole package is kind of brought to you by Cuse Yourself and IBU Brewery. So it'll be a fun day. Like I said, there'll be some cool special guests there. We'll just kind of be hanging out for a little bit, and then we'll do the podcast. For anybody that's going to be down there when we do the live show, of course, you're all welcome to to ask questions, to sit in with us, to talk, to chat, to get on
join in
on the podcast for sure. We'd love to hear your feedback or anything you have to say about the show. If anybody that's really not super interested about going to the Maryland game or just can't fit it into your schedule, still absolutely come down and see us. Selfishly, we want as many heads in the building as we can. We're trying to build kind of a long-standing relationship with a couple different breweries. We've got a couple different contests coming up. We have a couple breweries that are interested in splitting the cost of a couple extra season tickets with us. Mm-hmm. So every week we're going to do a giveaway for people to come watch the home games with us, including the Clemson game.
Including Clemson.
So we will have extra tickets for every home game, including the Clemson game, that we will kind of work into some weekly live shows, or if we can't,
contests of some kind.
Right. When we do the home games back to back to back, we might not always be able to do a live show, right. But we will definitely be doing little giveaways and whatever. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. August 24th, like I said, from 4 till about 9, but the actual fun stuff starts about 6.
Yep. Yeah, so when we get there at 4, we're going to go live on either Facebook, YouTube, or both. Mm-hmm. And we'll be live for 30 to 45 minutes, letting everybody know that we're down there, talking a little bit of Syracuse sports, and then around 5 or 5:30, we're actually going to record a podcast live at IBU, and that's where you guys are all welcome to join in.
Yeah.
Come down with questions, come down with comments, come down and heckle us. I don't care. And 7 o'clock, we're going to start trivia.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to win a pretty cool prize.
For sure.
And you know who else is staying at the hotel?
Who?
We are.
We are.
We are. So it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. I know there's a good number of wedge heads who are going to be at this game. So, guys, come on down. IBU on the 24th. Don't miss it. This is the first of many, many giveaways and many big things that Cuse Yourself has planned. Oh, can't see the shirt with the new camera.
I know, right?
Check out the new shirt from Dino's introductory press conference. Yes. That's on the Shopify, Cuse Yourself myshopify.com.
Just go to our Facebook page.
Links on the Facebook page, links on Twitter, everything. So last week in episode 9, we talked about defense. We're a defensive household.
For sure.
If that's given the option, we definitely are defense oriented. However, we do have an offense.
We do.
So,
and it's a pretty exciting
and
offense.
It's a pretty good offense. It's a pretty freaking good offense. So let's talk about it. I'll start right at the top.
Okay.
Right where everybody wants to go. We lose Eric Dungy this year after 4 years as the starter, and we bring in Tommy DeVito.
We do. He's no scrub.
He is no scrub. Tommy is no scrub. This kid has a firearm. He's got a cannon, and the ball comes out hot. But before I get into much about Tommy and who he's going to be for Syracuse,
Right.
let's talk about how he got here.
Okay.
So he goes to the Elite 11 camp to try to make the Elite 11.
Because he was
like tryouts.
relatively under-recruited.
Oh, he was
so
very
he
under-recruited,
he
yeah.
kind of went there to get his name out a little bit. And
He was the lowest rated quarterback at the tryouts.
right. So before the camp.
Before the camp. Right. So X number of players, quarterbacks go to try to make it to the Elite 11.
Right.
He made it far and away.
Yeah.
Clear cut, no questions asked. Tommy DeVito was in. So he makes the Elite 11. And I remember it happening back then, but I had to go back and read. I went back and read
Yeah.
some articles. And there was this buzz around the Elite 11 about Tommy DeVito. And at
Right.
that point, he'd already committed.
Right.
He
well,
was
because
coming
he
to
came in
Syracuse.
second to only Tua.
Correct. Yeah, Tua won the MVP that year. And so these were the other quarterbacks at that camp. Unreal talent at this Elite 11 camp. You have Tua at Alabama. Jake Fromm from Georgia. Sam Erlinger at Texas. Tate Martell, who went to Ohio State. Ended up losing his job to Dwayne Haskins.
Right.
But still, 5-star talent at Ohio State.
Right.
Chase Bryce.
I remember.
Any of you out there who just heard the name Chase Bryce and it rang a little bell and you couldn't quite place it? Chase Bryce was the 3rd string quarterback in Clemson last year who then became the backup when they got rid of Kelly Bryant.
Yep.
This is a 5-star Elite 11 quarterback. And when he came in, everybody was like, because we kept the game close.
Right.
Like, oh, well, you're playing the 3rd
Was
string
it
quarterback.
the first quarter? It was
If it wasn't first quarter,
relatively
it was early second.
Yeah. That was also the day of your surprise 40th birthday party, so a lot of that day is kind of a
No,
blur.
you just told everybody how old I was?
Sorry, surprise 21st birthday party.
Right. That's better.
All that does is make me look better.
Right.
Robbing the cradle.
But so Chase Bryce was no slouch, and everybody was like, well, you know, he's the 3rd string quarterback. If not for Trevor Lawrence, this kid's the starting quarterback at Clemson right now. So
he could be the starting quarterback at
almost anywhere.
Right, yeah.
Almost anywhere. The kid is super talented. So these are the guys that Tommy DeVito's in with at the Elite 11 camp.
And beat them all out.
And Tommy had a great camp. Had to learn an offense and plays that he doesn't run in high school because they ran a different system. Came in, studied the playbook, learned it, and were it not for a dropped pass in the end zone on the final drive of however they function it.
Of the Elite 11.
Of the Elite 11
Right.
camp. If not for a drop pass, he threw a dime. Put it right in the kid's hands. If not for a drop pass, he wins the MVP of the Elite 11 camp.
Right.
Like this was that tight.
Yeah. It
And
wasn't like he was far and below.
no,
Yeah.
oh my God, no. This is a talented kid with arguably the best arm talent, pure arm talent I've seen at Syracuse in my life. 40 years now. They're just going to tell people how old I am. Since it's just public information.
I'm sorry. I'm
now.
sure everybody looking at you was like, oh my gosh, really? He's not 18? So my apologies for blowing up your spot.
Anyways, so now he comes to Syracuse. Red shirt's his first year.
Yep.
Last year was his red shirt freshman year, and he sat behind Eric.
Right.
Now he gets to take the reins.
Right.
His offense is his. And
So he gets to come in without the I guess, anxiety, for lack of a better word, of coming in behind Eric. Eric was and always will be beloved by our university and by our fan base.
Yes.
So there's got to be a little added extra anticipation when you go in for him. But now this offense is his.
Yeah, it's his offense.
And respectably. Like, these guys, they love him, and they respect him, and they're behind him.
Yeah, as well they should be.
Yeah.
As well they should be. And I hope, if there's two things that I hope that Tommy DeVito took from Eric Dungey before he left, because they're two separate quarterbacks.
Right.
But if I could have two things I wish he could take, one was Eric's leadership. Mm-hmm. The other 10 guys on that offense were willing to go into the trenches war for Eric Dungey. If Tommy can garner that sort of respect and leadership, the sky is the limit for this kid.
For sure.
And the other thing I hope he takes
The clap.
is the clap. There was nobody better in college football for 4 years than Eric Dungey at drawing kids off sides.
Yeah, that
That's
clap,
just
yeah.
what he was the best at it. And it's not that it's unteachable, but it's just something he had a knack for.
Right, yeah.
So, but if he could take some lesson in that and bring that into this season, the sky's the limit for this kid. He has all the talent in the world. I don't see any reason going forward he's not a first-round draft pick.
Right.
That's how talented he is.
Mm-hmm. And he's got a lot of talent around him.
He does. The talent around him is as deep and as talented as I've ever seen a Syracuse offense. From Moe Neal, who another under-recruited
I say
kid.
yo!
I say yo! Another under-recruited kid who's
When, at the uniform reveal, when they came out, we were right on the side that
Right
Moe
next to
Neal
him.
stopped. So that they all lined up, and we just happened to be on the same side of the stage as Mo. And Chris and I are belting out. I say, yo, he catches eye contact with us and gets the biggest grin on his face because he knows his dad sets that up. His dad is hilarious. Shelly is fantastic, man.
Shout
he can
out
get,
to Shelly.
yeah, he can get any crowd riled up. And as soon as
He's a
Mo
riot.
the crowd was obviously noisy,
Right.
but as soon as he caught who was just kind of doing that chant, he made eye contact and he just lit up.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah.
That was definitely a good time. But so Moe Neal is almost prototypical
Yeah.
for Dino's offense.
Remember when he ran over that ref?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I'm gonna see if I can find that
Yeah.
real quick and put it behind us. If it happens to be there, it's because I found it. I don't know if I'll be able to find it.
It's
We'll
just
try.
it just goes to show his focus. Like clearly,
Right.
no one's trying to run over a ref, but it just goes to show
Well,
that
you might be trying to run over a ref. Nobody will admit that.
Right. It just goes to show your focus. I don't know. Like once you break that last tackle, man, all you can see is glory.
And that's since you said that sentence, that's exactly what the Dino Babers offense is.
Yeah.
It's known nationwide as this pass happy offense, when in reality that's not all the truth.
Right.
We run the ball a lot.
Which
a lot.
set up for the highlight pass happy
Correct.
stuff. Yeah.
Correct. And the way we spread the field and the way we run those screens, the wide receiver hitch screens, has to bring the linebackers out just outside of a gap they would normally want to be in.
Box out. You taught me about this last year. When you run
in the box, outside of the box,
Yeah.
yes. So normally you would have your linebackers inside of the box in the B gap. But so it brings them a little wider, and it opens up. We run between the tackles. Moe Neal, with a couple of blocks on the inside, clears. There's not a linebacker in front of him, and if there's a safety, he's dead in the water.
Right.
He's dead meat. 15 yards to close gap. Moe Neal's going to shake him every time.
Right.
Every
Because
single
the
time.
safety is going to be pulling back ready for a pass.
Right.
So Mo's
He's
got
already on his
nothing.
heels.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So Moe Neal's prototypical for this offense. But then behind him, you've got Abdul Adams, who's an animal,
Right.
a beast. Like talent in spades.
Yeah.
Big, fast, shoulder pad square, like
I hope
runs
to
downhill.
see him more than the third down too, because he is so
Me too.
big that like that third and inches, third and short. Like
I think a lot of those will split between Abdul Adams and Jarvion Howard.
right.
This is very difficult for me. Jarvion Howard.
Yes.
So, Abdul Adams, Jarvion Howard, I think will split a lot
Yeah.
of those. And then right under there is Jawar Jordan.
Right.
That's a lot of J's. That is a lot of J's.
And then Cam and
Wide receiver.
yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, but Jawar Jordan's a freshman. And in the
Right.
spring game, he looked like a superstar. Like, we have talent in spades. Receivers, though, that's where our depth really shines.
For sure.
So our depth really shines. With Taj on one side and Tristan on the other side. And Tristan in the spring game was in the slot and then got moved to the outside. So it'll be Taj and Tristan most likely.
And we saw a little bit of highlights of what Taj can give us last
yeah.
year. Obviously, Custis was our wide receiver 1.
Yep.
But we were able to see a little bit, and a little bit of, like Sean Riley too. Like he did a lot of special teams, but then they put him towards the middle.
Sean had a
Oh.
lot of yards receiving
Yeah.
last year. And he's still going to play that slot role. But between Taj and Tristan, Sean Riley, Nykeem Johnson, those are 4 extremely athletic, extremely talented, extremely sure-handed receivers. But once you leave that level, we're not dead in the water.
Right.
You've got Cameron Jordan, Sherrod Johnson, the freshman Curtis Jackson,
Cooper Lutz.
Cooper Lutz. I love Cooper Lutz. I don't know how much you guys are going to see of him this year, but he's a slot Edelman type of kid, stocky, sure-handed, and can catch those over the middle passes.
Yeah, he's one of the, like we've talked about before, that football IQ.
Yeah. I like Cooper Lutz. I hope he gets some reps this year. And then after that, as if that wasn't enough talent at receiver, we bring in, and I have to look at this because it's new to me, the Canadian kid who just
Because we
got
love
approved.
Canadian
Love us
athletes.
some Canadians. Kevin Matar. I know zero about this kid other than last year in his prep school, he caught passes for a little over 1,000 yards and 17 touchdowns. Staff is saying they didn't bring him in here to redshirt. I don't see any way he doesn't redshirt.
Right, but I mean, do keep in mind the NCAA new rule that they put in place last year. He can play up to 4 games and still redshirt.
Right.
So
I don't
he
know,
can get a little burn.
is that rule he can play in 4 games or up to game 4? I'm not sure how that works.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. I don't know all the intricacies. I will look into it a little bit. But this kid's supposed to be super, super talented. So Tommy's got
Weapons.
a plethora, if you will, of talent
I
around
say
him.
plethora.
Yeah, you say it right. I don't want to do that.
Potato.
There's no fun in that. But he has an insane amount of talent around him to throw the ball to, and I'm looking forward to an exciting offensive year this year.
For sure.
Tristan Jackson and Abdul Adams are transfers to us.
Right.
These are highly touted kids. Abdul Adams came from Oklahoma
Yeah, Tristan came from Michigan.
and Michigan State.
Michigan State, yeah.
And Tristan came from Michigan State, where these were 4-star athletes. These are not these are superstar kids.
That's where universities like us, because, yeah, granted, we're not the Alabama, the Clemson, we're not in that echelon, but we are directly below that, if not pushing the seam up a little bit on that bottom level. And that's where universities like ours benefit, because these 4- and 5-star recruits, they, of course, if you're a 17-year-old kid in Alabama or Michigan State or whoever's knocking down your door, you're going to say yes. You're going to say yes.
Right.
But then if you, because they get so many recruits and so many commits there, as soon as you're not performing to their level, they bench you. And so that's where you get them, they still want to make it in the NFL. They still want tape. They still want burn. So they're going to come to that next level. And so that's where we're going to get, we might not get a 4-star, 5-star freshman, but I'll take right. I mean, we're going there. But I'll take a 4-star, 5-star transfer because, like I said, for whatever reason they got benched at this, so now they're transferring out. I'll take it.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, Tristan Jackson's a hell of a kid.
He is a hell of a kid.
He's
And he's got a bloodline.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. He has a receiver family.
For sure. His cousin was the number 3 pick in the NFL draft in 2005.
Yes.
Braylon Edwards. He was drafted by the Cleveland Browns. He played for Cleveland. He played for the Jets, the Niners, and the Seahawks, I think, before he retired.
Yeah, the last two are
probably just
hazy in my memory. I remember him in Cleveland. I remember him with the Jets. And he was a superstar. He was quality talent.
Tristan's brother plays for Western Michigan.
Correct. Yeah. And he's a He's a talented kid. He's a down-to-earth kid. He's a good kid. And that's part of what Dino brings in here. He brings in quality talent, but quality human beings.
Right.
And I think that's as important for us as fans.
Yeah. And for Dino, it is as important to turn these kids into the best football players they can be as it is to turn them into the best men they can be. And which speaks right into my wheelhouse. Tristan Jackson, I had the pleasure of meeting in this past January. Chris and I both worked at Applebee's for quite a long time as servers. And in January, I was working a lunch, and in comes this fabulous table of Tiana, Emily Angster, and of course Tristan, because Tristan and Tiana are a couple. And so I fangirled over them for a few minutes, and this is a picture I got with them as well. But the support, obviously, Tiana's been going through, everything that she's been going through lately, and fighting like the best warrior that we can ever see.
Unreal.
Unreal. And still making public appearances and still, taking time for her fans. But Tristan just gives her that little bit of extra that, if you don't want to run today, honey, I'll run with you. That kind of thing. Yeah. And he's a really, really really good kid.
He's a good person.
Yeah.
Good person. But what?
He actually, when we saw Tiana at the TBT, I was like, oh, Tiana, hey, whatever. And she was like, oh my gosh, you waited on me at Applebee's, and she recognized me. And then Tristan put his hand out to you and was like, hey, I'm Tristan Jackson. Like, we don't know who you are.
Right.
But he took the time to introduce himself to you because you were talking to his girlfriend.
Yeah, humble kid.
Yeah, he's
humble kid.
he's a good kid.
But you know what, though? There's a lot of talent there.
There is a lot of talent.
All the talent in the world. Tommy DeVito, Moe Neal, Abdul Adams, Jarvion Howard, Taj Harris, Tristan Jackson, Sean Riley, all the way down the list. Doesn't mean anything in the world
without
an offensive line.
Offensive line
is
and
underappreciated.
Very underappreciated. And you just
in all of football fandom, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, just Google statistics on offensive line, and there's all but nothing. And
there's knockdown blocks.
Right.
You get knockdown blocks and number of snaps.
Yeah.
Is about all you get.
Right. But then, the quarterback gets praised for a good pass and then gets knocked down for an interception or whatever, when unfortunately the pros and the cons a lot of times rely on those five guys in front of him. And those five guys are a unit from left guard to right guard to tackles to the center. Those guys are a unit. They live and breathe together. They know what everybody is thinking before they know what they're thinking themselves. And we have the benefit of bringing back two on our offensive line, two starters from last year, and bringing in three new guys. But Sam Heckel recently, just this past week, we found out is probably going to be sidelined again due to some medical concerns. Last year he had surgery, which kind of sidelined him. But on top of that, this amazing individual, since he was 2 years old, was diagnosed with congenital thrombocytopenic purpura. So I have a major in respiratory therapy and a minor in sports broadcasting. So it kind of he's my dream.
I don't know how you can't not pull for
no,
this
you
kid.
You can't. And he was diagnosed in 1999. He is the last known case to be diagnosed. That's crazy. There's 100 people worldwide that have been diagnosed with this particular disease. So there's not a lot of money that goes into funding for research, and he's now the president for the Syracuse chapter of Uplifting Athletes, which again plays right into my wheelhouse.
I'm gonna start putting hashtags in the corner. How do I get to the corner? Right there. I'm gonna start putting hashtags in the corner every time you say uplifting athletes.
You're gonna have to find another screen.
I'm gonna need a new screen.
But unfortunately, with him being sidelined, he probably won't play, at least in the beginning of the season, much at center. But all that does is bring back Aaron Service, who played as center for the last 2 years.
Right, started every game.
Yeah, so in high school he played more of the guard, more of the tackle, more of the he played more of the tackle. But since he's come to SU, he's played more of the center, and that's probably where he'll start again, week 1 here. And so we have him and we have Abdul Adams, No, my gosh, Evan Adams. Why do I
Yes.
keep doing that?
I do it too.
I know.
I do it too. I only know it's wrong when you say it.
Right.
When I say it, it feels right.
But that's why I give everybody nicknames.
Right.
Because that way it keeps everybody straight in my brain. So anyways, Evan Adams
Yeah.
and Aaron are both returning starters. And then we have Ryan Alexander, who's a transfer who's coming in for this year.
Yep.
We have Carlos Vettorella, who's probably going to take over back at Aaron's spot
At right tackle.
at right tackle now that he's moved to center.
Yep.
And probably Dakota Davis at guard.
Yes. There's two competitions going on right now that I know of if we're removing Sam Hackel. So Dakota Davis is in competition with
Not Ashley.
hashtag my name's not Ashley Tisdale.
Darius Tisdale.
Darius
right.
Tisdale. Darius Tisdale and Dakota Davis are in a competition for the other guard spot.
Right.
And Ryan Alexander and Jonathan Red.
Yeah.
Jonathan Red are in competition for the other tackle spot. So we do have some depth even without Sam Hackel. We have some experience. Ryan Alexander is a grad transfer. So like he's got 4 years of college football underneath him from South Alabama.
Yes.
See? I got this, babe. So he's got some experience. And
He's from New York.
okay.
So
I
when
did
he
not know that.
transferred from South Alabama back up here, it was kind of a move back closer to home.
Okay.
Which helped him pick Syracuse. But yeah, he's a redshirt senior. So
yeah, I mean,
obviously he has some experience under his belt as well.
right, with him and Red and Vettorello and Service and the potential for Sam Hackel and Evan Adams.
Right. Yeah.
And Dakota Davis and my name's not Ashley hashtag Tisdale. Like with all
But-
that, we have some depth.
And then, I mean, the depth continues. There's Quadir White that's no longer on the depth
Who
charts
was
right
a
now. Yeah.
huge recruit. This kid is a walking behemoth.
There's
Quadir White.
Andreas Durig, who's still.
Oh, yeah, Durig.
There's Patrick Davis. There's Mike Clark still. He was injured earlier during
Yep.
the spring, but I mean he's he's still here. And then there's Will Fromley as well. Will Fromey, who's a redshirt freshman.
Yep.
So I mean we
We have talent.
We
We
definitely have
depth.
talent. I mean,
We're
we-
going to miss Cody Conway. We're
did-
going
Ooh!
to miss.
Speaking of, what did Cody Conway beat me in? Cornhole.
Cornhole. Not a game of horseshoes. A game
Not
of
a game-
horseshoes.
Not a game. But again, Cody Conway, Matt Keller run a team. You and I run a team. We have to let him win.
You have to let him win.
So we played them in cornhole and we lost. But whatever.
We may have lost.
I still feel like I won.
Well, yeah. But yeah, so we're going to miss Cody Conway, and we're going to miss...
Coda Martin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Coda Martin. I know that's
Gone.
it. Yeah, that was really gone. But I know I kind of briefly touched on all the offensive line, and I know we're gonna miss those gentlemen. But in that, check out this cutie pants. You know what this is?
Sorry, Aaron.
This is Aaron.
That
This
is
is
Aaron
Aaron.
Service. That is courtesy of Mama Hoss. Don't yell at us.
When they're not playing and when they're not practicing and when they're not working out, which is like 4 minutes a year,
Yep.
he goes back home to Wisconsin and he hangs out with his coaches and he helps out at his high school team. And then on his times where he actually can spend time with his family, he does cool things like this with his mommy and his sister, August, who are super, super cute. And the other cool kind of fun thing about Aaron is he is Dino's first Syracuse recruit. So
Correct. He's our
he
first
was
commit.
committed to Bowling Green. He was recruited and committed to Bowling Green. And then when Dino came to Syracuse, Aaron came along with him. So he kind of is listed and probably forever important in Dino's heart as the first ever under the Dino regime as a commit here.
Yeah, and when you were telling me a story when you were reading up on his commit at Bowling Green, how you say it because I'll never get the
Yeah,
words
so they're
right.
sitting in Dino's office, and Dino's kind of just going over the pros and cons of whatever Bowling Green and why Aaron should commit, and it's Aaron and Beth, his mom, who's sitting there with him, and he kind of looks over at Beth, his mom, and says, "Beth, I would like to offer your son a scholarship to Bowling Green," and Aaron talked about that a couple times in a couple different interviews. He's like, my mom is everything to me. My mom is super important to me and has been super important through my whole football career. it was really a neat experience to watch him ask my mom as opposed to ask me.
Well, and it brings to fruition the truth and validity behind when Dino says it's a family and it's La Familia and it's the Ohana. He's not just blowing smoke up recruits' asses. He means it, and it's heartfelt.
Yeah.
And it's things like that that endear me to him.
Right. I'm going to teach your boy the best way I can to get him to the best football player, but I'm also concerned about him as a human being and as a person, and you can trust in me.
Yeah, and that's I love what he does for Syracuse on the field. I love that we're winning again. On top of that, or in addition to that, I love what he does with the kids that are here.
It's so easy to find the negative stories around football players or athletes in general, collegiate athletes in general. They're a dime a dozen. It's like you don't hear about the planes that land, you only hear about the planes that crash.
Right.
And it's the same with college athletes. And maybe you won't hear about every story in the New York Post about what Dino's doing for these guys, but we know and we feel it, and that's why sometimes we get a little sidetracked from the X's and O's, because we want you guys to feel it too, that these kids that put on shoulder pads and get out on the field and hustle for 4 hours of our enjoyment on Saturday are also human beings. Yep. They have lives, they have hearts, they have souls, they have feelings. And
a part of what we want to do, what we want to accomplish, is that I just want to bring some humanity back to college athletics.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it burns me up.
So that's why. Yeah. So when you watch and you learn something about a kid that you didn't know before, about who he is as a person, that's why we do it. So if you're ever curious, that's why we do it. So I'm going to wrap it up here.
Yes. And this is more like the off-season stuff. Once we get into actual season, it's pretty much all X's and O's.
Right.
So
you're just going to sit there and look pretty.
No, I'm going to talk
You're
X's and O's. No, you're pretty, but I'm smart.
So I believe that our defense has the potential to be a top 15
For
defense
sure.
in the country, anchored by our secondary and our defensive ends. We did have an injury this week. We did have an injury this week to McKinley Williams. We don't know what's going on there. Kenneth Ruff is going to be stepping in.
Yeah. McKinley didn't even come to practice today, and they saw him in like a boot.
A boot, yeah. So that injury hurts because he's a returning starter. But the no-fly zone is going to be big. So I think that our defense should potentially land in the top 15 to top 20. I think our offense has potential to be in that same range.
I think so too.
So next week, we will touch on special teams.
Yep.
Where we'll talk about another guy who's in Uplifting Athletes.
Oh, Aaron is the director of public relations for Uplifting Athletes.
He is
So
the director.
Sam Heckel and Aaron are both on
Yep.
Sam Heckel being the president of Uplifting Athletes. He took that over from Zach Mahoney. And Nolan Cooney is the vice president. We'll talk about him next week.
And Nolan Cooney, who we'll talk about next week during special teams, is the vice president of Uplifting Athletes.
Yeah, but Aaron is the director of public relations for Uplifting.
So yeah, we'll go over special teams, which is probably the most elite of our units.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Nobody has a problem talking about our special teams.
Right. So we'll go over special teams, and then we will do a schedule breakdown.
And a prediction?
Okay.
Okay.
We'll do a Wedgehead official record prediction.
Okay, all right.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah, that is going to be tough.
That's going to be tough. And that's going to lead us into...
Well, then following week will be at IBU. Yeah.
Everybody shoot out to IBU.
For sure.
Let's get it done.
Yep.
So everybody shoot out to IBU. We're going to have some fun.
And keep in the back of your mind about the water war for Clemson.
Yep.
We have a lot of Clemson fans kind of speaking with us now on social media, kind of getting in touch with us.
This is growing.
Yeah.
The Super Soaker fight.
We've got about 30 commits right now.
Yeah. Yeah, we got about 30 people. It's going to be big. It's going to be
fun.
So that's going to be...
If you know how to transport water to...
I have a plan.
Okay, fine. But if you know a plan B to transport water, let me know in case plan A doesn't work out.
I love it when a plan comes together.
I do too, but it's normally somebody else's plan.
It's messed up. Anyways, from Cuse Yourself Podcast, as always, bleed orange, go Cuse yourself.
Wedgehead.
Wedgeheads. I think we got audio this time.
Oh, hopefully. What do you want?